This is day one, and I'm about to spend the next 31 days posting every single day on Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, trying to grow my content agency. So, for those of you who don't know me, here's just a quick bit of background on me. I love the gym, I love boxing, I love chess, and I love reading. And I've always had an obsession with money. I also went to university for 3 years and graduated with a degree. But in that time, there were some really important lessons that I learned, and I've got to be honest, like, hardly any of them were actually from the course itself and more what I learned outside. And one of the main lessons I learned was that just everything in media and film, it's like fuck all to do with how good you are at film and media. Like, you could be an absolute A star at making films, but like if no one ever gets to see your films or no one can vouch for you, it doesn't really mean much for you in the long term, right? So the main thing I learned was it's all about basically just money, power, and connections, I call it, or a network. So I realized if I wanted to be good at making films, forget making films altogether, get money, make connections, and get powerful. The other lesson, which I thought was incredibly valuable, is who you hang around with. I'm sure most of you heard that phrase, like you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around with the most, but I didn't really realize like how important that was sort of basically until this point. I tried to apply it, but when you've not got a lot of money and you're stuck in one place, you don't really have that much of a choice who you can sort of hang around with. But I noticed at uni, when I would hang around with people that were more on the degenerate side, that side came out of me more, and I was more likely to waste my time and do shit that doesn't sort of propel me towards my goals. The activities, let's just put it this way, were not conducive to those goals. And the other thing was, when I hung around with people that were wanting to get after it, who wanted to be something in life, by proxy, I was wanting to do the same. Like, I already had my life's ambitions and stuff, but I was like a fucking degenerate. I didn't really have much going for me. I procrastinated a lot, but yeah, I found when I used to hang around with, like, just, when I say cool people, I don't mean like the popular people or the people who just get all the bitches. No, I'm talking about like the people who just got after it, went to the gym, walked, an hour to the gym, even though it was pissing it down with rain. Like, that's who I want to hang around with. And anyway, after graduating uni with a 2-2, amazing. For 2 months, my parents were like, look, we don't expect you to like jump for a job because you've just come out of uni. They were a bit disappointed that the university hadn't helped with that, but is what it is. So I had 2 months to try and get an editing job, and all the fucking CVs were asking for was something crazy. I actually wrote it down. Like, I have no shame. I'm gonna read off the fucking scripts because it was ridiculous. Like, all they wanted was like 30 years experience plus. You needed to be a videographer, a graphic designer, understand CapCut, Premiere Pro, DaVinci, After Effects, all to a professional level, social media, understanding at a deep level, and understand social media trends and be obsessed with learning, and have to have worked with at least Steven Spielberg twice before they'll even hover the mouse over your CV. A fucking CV, right? And obviously I didn't get any jobs because like I'd been using fucking DaVinci Resolve by this point. And I was like, shit, it's going to take me like 3 months just to even learn Premiere Pro to an okay level. And I'm glad I did, because Premiere Pro, like, to me, I'm so glad I made the switch. I just love the fact you can fucking render shit and watch it back in real time. But yeah, 2 months ran out, and they were like, you need to get a fucking job. And I was like, fuck, that one stung the ego. I came out thinking, like, I'm the man, I'm the fucking editor, man. I'm going to get a job in a film place. I just couldn't, the thought of being a coffee runner, though, just like, maybe fucking nauseous. I was like, hell no, I'm not being someone's coffee bitch. But I remember it was like so embarrassing not getting a job. Like, there's nothing wrong with getting a job, by the way, but just like having to ring like a fucking, what are they called, like a recruitment firm kind of thing, and be like, look, please get me a fucking job because I'm hopeless. They get me a job at this call center, and I'll dive into some of that so you can get the context of why we are here now. So I knew that my plan was never to like just work a normal job, but I knew you had to be like humble enough, and I'm glad I did get humbled having to take that job, to just get money first and like stack some experience. So if you did fall flat on your face, at least you got something to fall back on. And I just remember I was like, right, what's the plan then? Okay, well, if we save up about 10k, that should cover us. If your monthly burn is XYZ, that gives you this amount of room to just try shit and fail, and you can pay for your car and stuff. It's not a problem. And obviously, like, hopefully go freelance in full-time editing until you can sort of make your own business. And it just, yeah, like, let's just put it this way, like 15 months go by in this miserable ass call center, like, everyone's just complaining about shit daily, whether it's the people you're around with or the people on the phone, management, whoever the fuck. And you're just like, oh. And my favourite, I still say it to this day, is when people come in, no one wants any depth in their conversation. It's always, yeah, I'm good, yeah, you, yeah, I'm good, yeah, you, yeah, not much, what about you, yeah, not much, what about you, what are you up to, yeah, not much, yeah, I'm gonna go to the pub this week and just get fucked up and just drink loads of alcohol. It's like, I'm like, what am I doing here? But come about, I think February, that was when I had the 10k saved up, and I was like, right, I need to just start blasting CVs out again. You know, I need to like go, because this place was destroying my mental health. And looking for editing jobs. You know, I've got the experience now. I've just spent the last 15 months using Premiere Pro like on myself. There's this one quote I wrote down. It's really good. It was just like, if they won't hire you because you've got no experience, then you have no choice but to go out and get some fucking experience, whether that's like working for free for people, or like if you literally can't even do that, like work for yourself. Like I was just vlogging myself on what I was doing day to day, and I even recorded like one of my friend's fights. That was pretty cool. But it's just like, you know, if you want it that bad, you'll find a way to get some experience. But yeah, after that, the 15 months, I get offered not a job, but like an interview by this one company. This is February time. I take it, and it's for a marketing agency. And I go in, and it was fucking sick. And again, I'm sorry, I'm gonna read off the script because like I want to get this right. It was fucking unbelievable when I went in. So first and foremost, right, the interview they scheduled was for 10 p.m. 10 p.m. at night. I had to like read it a million times. I showed my mum and dad, and they were like, this doesn't sound right. They were like, you're going to get like cornered in an alley and beat, and they're going to steal all your crypto or some shit. I was like, what? But anyway, yeah, like I went, it was one of the coolest experiences like I've ever had. So they let me in through this cool door. It's like you kind of like walk in a little bit and then to the left, and then it had like a cool lock on it. Anyway. And the second I walk in, they had Drake music blasting. Like, on surround sound speakers, it just had that really cool reverb echo effect. And like, to give context real quick, back at the call center, like they wouldn't even put the radio on. Anything. Like only one part of the company was allowed that because they weren't taking calls all the time. But like, nah, we can't have it. And it's just like depressing. So that was the first like, boom, pattern interrupt. I was like, holy shit, they're just blasting like whatever music they want. And yeah. I look to my left, like I walk in, and straight away there's this fuck off boardroom like table. You know, one of those. It wasn't actually like 20 foot, but it fucking felt 20 foot long, alright. And there was like 6 to 8 dudes, all just like typing away on laptops, just going crazy. I didn't know what they were doing, but they were grinding. They were all fucking laser focused, like Superman laser beams on the laptop, right? And then as I'm like if this is me like looking here. And as my view's coming round, I'm like, holy fuck. There's literally like a cable machine, dumbbells and all that kind of stuff there. And then and then to the right of that, there's like a ping pong table and a pool table. I'm just like, what the fuck? And as I keep going, expecting, you know, it to kind of like end here, and there's a white wall. Well, there kind of was actually. But then I carried on going, and then there was this like sick whiskey rack with like 4 to 6 different bottles of whiskey hanging upside down, you know, with those like pour spouts that they have at the bar. And I'd researched the company ahead. I said researched the company. I'd literally been on their Instagrams. I'd stalked their shit as much as I could and watched their stories. And I think they were on about like every time they get like a big sale or something big happens, like they hit a quota early, they're like the whole company would just stop what they're doing. They'd cheers a whiskey. And I was like, I don't even like whiskey. In fact, it was one of the drinks that made me black out drunk like one time. But I was like, look, I want to cheers a whiskey like after we all get a big win. I was like, that's the sickest thing ever. But yeah, and I'm already thinking like, holy shit, this place is like the modern day Wolf of Wall Street shit. Just instead of, you know, the coke, it was caffeine, because after the whiskey, I keep looking. So now we're about here. Like, there's 2 fridges full of like Monster Energy of every flavour just stacked. And then I'm sat on this like comfy ass chair. There's 2 other interview people. And I'm just like analysing it. That people had like meal prep, like good chicken and rice and shit. Like, fucking hell. I'm like, in most offices, especially the one I was in, you had like a little tiddler fridge. It was like, if this is like a big ass fridge, this was theirs. The little tiddler fridge is like this, and everyone else's food and drinks is all stacked up like Jenga blocks, you know. So that was different. And then like finally, you know, I look all the way and there's just like this sick sort of glass office that I'm looking in where all the interviews are being done, and I'm just thinking like, holy shit. But anyway, you know, long story short for that, I go for the interview. It's pretty damn good. They were like, yeah, I think you're a right fit because you enjoy the gym and all this shit. And like, you know, we've seen what you've got in your edits. And over the next 2 weeks, between my literal 9 to 5 at the call center and like, I would be up at 4 a.m. every day, editing from, the shifts could be staggered. So you're either working like 8 till 4, 9 till 5, 10 till 6, right? So whatever it was, like I would be up at 4 or 5 latest, just trying to cram in as much editing as I could, because I knew it was a race. I knew you had to be quick, and I was working with a 6-year-old PC. It was trash, and then I was working with like 4K footage from them. I'd never edited a podcast as well, so that was a learning experience. I wasted a week doing shit like I could have just avoided, but that's my fault for not asking questions. But yeah, like, bro, I would do everything to just save time. I would like leave my PC on during the day and then just like Windows lock screen, so I could just run in after the call center shift, open it straight back up, and then just go for it. But yeah, I hand it all in 2 weeks later on a Friday. I remember like literally my whole family was having like a takeaway curry, and I just like had to chom it, and I was just like, look, I'm at the last bit. I just got to go see it off. I gotta finish this. This is my unfinished business. And they're like, yeah, go for it. I do it. I finish it like 10 to 12. I render it all, make sure it's all good, and I send it over to their videographer because they basically said they want to see if you mesh with them. And he grills me a bit. He's like, you know, he's like, can we jump on a call? I'm like, cool. He's like, how come it took so long? And I'm just like, well, you know, I had a job and stuff. In my head, I was just like, motherfucker. I was like, I've averaged 4 hours sleep a night while still working a shitty job that is miserable, would drain the life out of most people. Like, the Dementors in Harry Potter look like fucking soft, cuddly, like, unicorns compared to that shit. I exaggerate, it's a hyperbole. But the main thing is, like, you know, it just sucked. And in my head, I'm like, this guy doesn't know what I've been through. But I also didn't say anything back. So I'm just like, oh, you know, sorry, like, this happened. He's like, all right, whatever. You know, I didn't want to make excuses at the time. And he's like, yeah, you're what we're looking for. You'll get a call either today, as in because it was like Saturday, or Sunday, probably not. And like, you know, latest Monday. I'm thinking, fuck yeah, right? I was thrilled, right? I told my parents, and they were like, that's great, but do not quit your job, right? Whatever you do, do not quit your job until it's in writing. And I go back to my shift at the call center on Monday. And after experiencing such an insane high of like seeing that environment, it's everything that like I could have dreamed of. Like, I shit you not, I'll quickly go back to this. When I left that interview, the videographer took me around the back, like out the back way, just where the car park was, there, like sort of private car park. There was like a fucking Ferrari something parked there and another cool car. Now don't get me wrong, I don't give a shit for cars. I'm not a very materialistic person at all. But I was just like, that is very cool because I know it's very expensive, and you don't get that like unless you know you've got something cool going on. So I was just like, holy shit. And anyway, I go back to the fucking 9 to 5. Wait, let me find this bit. Yeah, this was it. And the first call I get back on a Monday morning at like 8 in the morning, and this lady's like, I'm like, you know, good morning, you're through to Harry from XYZ company, you know, can I start by taking the first line of your address? And she goes, you can. It's this, that, here's my name, you know, date of birth, whatever. I play data protection. I'm like, all right, how can I help you? She's like, I am livid. Your engineers are so incompetent, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I wasn't like, fuck you more. I was just depressed. I was like, oh. I was like, I'm on like a come down of life. I was like, what the fuck? But it did kind of make me laugh at the same time. I was like, Merry Christmas to you. I was like, who the fuck has this kind of energy on a fucking Monday morning, bro? But it taught me something valuable. So fire. But anyway, yeah, it taught me something valuable. That same day, so the people I was with, I'll try and be even vague with like the term, just my co-workers, people above, and then like slightly people above, and people other parts in the company. Not one fucking person was trying to was trying to take accountability for anything, whether it was their own life or trying to help me or even trying to like help others, right? No one wanted to do it. And that contrast really pissed me off even more, because something I'd found by looking at the footage. So I had to edit a podcast and then like a 10, tips video. When I was editing the podcast, because it was the longest one, I was like, get that one out first. One of the things the like sort of co-founder was saying in the pod, he's like, one of the things to be a great leader is you have to be willing to do the shit with your team. So he's like, even though I've got different priorities, they're doing this. He's like, I'll still every now and again like sit with them late at night, like we'll all be in the trenches grinding, because I'm like, I wouldn't fucking expect them to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. And I was just like, fuck, like this is playing in my head. I'm there, like let me recreate this. Let me recreate this. And I'm just like, I just get hit with like fucking Merry Monday, motherfucker, and I'm just like, fuck. Like this is, I'm like, because I'm just like picturing it in my head of him saying that, and I'm like, what? I'm like looking around, like no one giving a shit. I'm like, fuck, man. But yeah, it was a very valuable lesson. I just thought, I need to get the fuck out of here. So what I did was I said to my parents, I was like, look, I want to put my fucking notice in now. I've got the money, and they were like, yeah, but you don't have the job yet. Do not fucking, put your notice to leaving. And I was like, all right, fine. And I kind of believed him for a bit. I talked with my friend Cam, and he's like, brother, he's like, die on your own sword. It's one of the, like, I can really find it. I'm not going to put it in this video. I'll put it at a later date. But like, yeah, he's just like, brother, die on your own sword. He's like, if you're gonna lose and fuck it up, do it on your own terms rather than play it safe by someone else's. And I was like, all right. He's like, you got this far on your own, come on. So I waited till they leave. They were going to Australia for like 4 weeks, and I put my notice in. I think it was like the 28th of Feb. And in that time, I was like, right, fuck, they've gone, and I, obviously I still had to work the 9 to 5, but things felt lighter. I was like, holy shit. I was like, I don't feel as miserable because I know I'm going soon. And I just spent my time chilling, like trying to upgrade my craft basically. I was like, right, let me try and smash Premiere Pro, get good at it, whatever. See what other like resources I can get. And I think it was about a week into that, I was going through looking for inspiration on Instagram, and this guy kept popping up, this bearded fellow with the specs. And he had some really nice glowing captions and these like little pop-up icons that would kind of, how do I do it? Like if this is the icon, like if I'm talking, I'm like, content, and then it's like, you need to be a mechanic, and then it's like a gear pops up and it kind of goes like that, just like super smooth. And I was like, fuck, this guy's content is nice. It looks premium. I said, I'm going to save some of his videos. We'll try and recreate it. A couple more days goes by. And he pops up again. Now I know it is like, because if you've got like boosting a reel or paid ads, like it'll retarget them. But at the time I was just like, fuck, he's popping up again. I followed him because I was just like, whatever. I'll make sure I, don't lose this guy. He's got interesting stuff. He messages me. He's like, oh, why did you follow me? And I was kind of honest. I wasn't like, I'm going to steal your shit. But I was like, look, I was looking for inspiration. You got some nice stuff. And he was like, appreciate it. What you up to? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I've been offered an editing job. Fucking, I can't even speak. Well, I've been offered an editing job. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm just waiting for a reply. And he's like, oh, cool. He's like, so what are your plans with it? And I said, like, hopefully maybe one day I will have like my own content agency. He was like, yeah, cool. And he was like, all right, good luck with that. Like, that's awesome. 4 weeks go by. And in that time, dead silence. Nothing from the marketing agency. And I'm like, fuck. My parents get back and they're like, why are you still here? And I said, like, yeah, I put my notes in. And my dad, Mr. Pattern Recognition, he's like, I knew that because your car was in the drive and it was just like a fucking Tuesday morning at like, 11 a.m. or some shit like that. I don't know what it was. And I was like, oh God. But I explained, I was like, look, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I knew if I didn't get it, whatever. And I said, I've got a plan, And about 4 weeks later, the bearded fellow, he messages me and he's like, how's the editing job going and this shit? And I'm like, bad news, didn't get it. They didn't fucking respond. And he's just like, this might actually be a blessing in disguise for you, bro. He's like, you want help picking up some clients? And I was like, fucking yeah, mate, let's do it. We jumped on a call and he closed me for like 5.2k euros or some shit. I was like, 15 months at that fucking call centre, half of it just wiped in one fucking call. And then I spent like the next few months losing even more money before signing a client, to which I lost 2 months later again. But it did replenish some of those funds. So there's a better story like in that bit I'll save for a later date. But for the most part, that's where we're up to. And then like 5 months later, we're still here. I just, I had to do a lot of self-work. Entrepreneurship and running your own business, it's like self-help on steroids. Like, holy shit. Like, you will either like win or fail in terms of like, you either have to sort of level up or you just get knocked the fuck back down. And finally I realized, I was like, it's all about speed, volume, and action. Like, if you boil everything down, Hormozy style, it's always action. Like, if you're sad, go take some action. If you're depressed, go take some action. Even if you're happy, definitely go take some action. Fucking hell, it's like you're on double points, you know? Rack them up while you can. That's how people don't realise they're like that. They wait for happiness before they start. Like, I need the conditions to be perfect. It's like, no. Every rep you do while you feel like shit is worth infinitely more, because then when you are in those perfect environments, you've got even less friction. Just think of it like double points. But yeah, long story short, we're here. And, you know, if you've made it this far in the video, God bless you, straight up, because I've been yapping like a motherfucker. But, you know, I didn't want to shorten this. I was running it through ChatGPT, and it was like, do you want to like summarize this into 2-3 minute bullet points? And I was like, no, because that would dilute the fucking message, mate. Like, Lord of the Rings, if it was summarized into 2 minutes, it'd be a really boring story. It was like, yep. Spoiler alert, by the way, if you've not read Lord of the Rings. Frodo gets given the ring by Gandalf. Gandalf says, go destroy this bitch in the fires of Mount Doom. Frodo goes on a horrible adventure where he almost gets killed like 1,000,000 times. Right at the end, he's so close to dying, and then the ring goes in the fire of Mount Doom, blows up, everyone's happy, the world's happy again. Like, do you see how boring that was? Like, there's no stakes, there's no, like, gripping you by the, you know, I don't know, like, by the fucking head and just being like, holy shit. So that's why I'm making this longer. If anyone does watch this through, like I said, like, God fucking bless you, right? Because not many people have this attention span. But yeah, so to cut to the very long chase, what I wanted to do is, my plan for this month is upload a YouTube video every day. I've got a bank of 85 Instagram clips. 3 have been scheduled for today. I've got to actually like render them all sort of tomorrow, maybe some tonight if I've got the time. But yeah, I recorded all those fuckers in one day. I'm like, holy shit. I'll do a video on that very soon. But yeah, video on Instagram, 3 videos on Instagram every day for the month. Hopefully I can start doing some LinkedIn stuff too, like a post a day, even if it's just like text with a picture of me. I don't need to do videos. A YouTube video every day, 1,000 looms, and a fuckload of DMs. So if you stick with me throughout this 31 days, I promise you, you will get lessons lived and learned through me, frameworks that I use every day that will allow me to do what most people can't fathom, my failures, because there's no way I don't fail at some point, and honestly, I can't wait, because I'd rather people see like the true side of entrepreneurship and not this like faked up fucking B-roll bullshit. You'll see behind the scenes, and honestly, you'll just get to know me more and more as a person. You can see the true character of a person when shit hits the fan, not when everything's perfect and there's no reason to be sad, angry, or miserable. So yeah, like if you want fake motivation, fancy B-rolls, like fuck that, it's not gonna be me. I'm gonna leave in the ugly stuff. You know, that's what this is about. This is like teeth to the grindstone, unsexy, painful progress. And so this is day 1. Day 2 is tomorrow, and by the end of the month, you will either see me break or break through. So subscribe if you want to see which it is, and if you want to follow me on Instagram too, feel free to do so. My handle is HarryLeadbeater_, and that's Leadbeater spelled Leadbeater. I'm the fucker with the purple profile. I'll see you in the next one.